So if there was an award for the youngest person to ever have an existential crisis, I would win. I'm telling you, I would win. It's not that I'm competitive or anything. I also trip a lot. So it's 1974, and I am 6 years old, a little Bari. It is Thanksgiving time, and my entire extended family is invited to our Thanksgiving. I am the baby of this family, and I mean the baby of this family, but this Thanksgiving is special because for the first time, I'm invited to sit at the adult table. Woo! That's thrilling. Do you know what happens when you get to sit at the adult table? Adult conversation. It's not fun. Not for a 6-year-old. It is so boring. I had no interest in what was going on that entire evening until my oldest sister, or our oldest sister, she's 18 years older than I am, and she starts doing this, and I think, oh, she has something to say, but nobody's paying attention to her. Nobody's paying attention to her until her husband, Joel, takes a knife and starts going ding, 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 up against my mother's deep-cut Waterford crystal goblets. And all of a sudden, the entire table hushes. And I think, oh my God, Joel is in so much trouble. But instead, my sister says, I'm pregnant. Joel and I are having a baby, and this is fine because they're married, right? And they have jobs, and it's fine. Everybody at the table starts laughing, and they're joyful, and everybody's happy. And honestly, I'm very happy too. I'm thrilled because I'm thinking this through, and I realize I am not going to be the youngest person in this family anymore. I listen, though, to the rest of the conversation, and it is not interesting. So very quietly, I get up from the table, and I find my way over to the living room, and I get a book. And I curl up on the couch, and I read my book, and I'm happy. Until Cousin Susan comes over. Cousin Susan sticks her face into mine, and she goes, Bari, are you so excited? You're going to become an aunt. No, I'm not. Because I know I'm not going to become an aunt. She and I get into possibly a little bit of a disagreement, but it's okay. It's fine. Her dad comes over, though, and just rudely interrupts what was a very good argument and says, Bari, you're going to become an aunt. There's nothing you can do about it. Just deal with it, and walks away. Fine. I realize that this actually might be a thing, that I'm going to be an aunt. And so I look for the person that I always look for, my other sister, second oldest sister, Beth. I look for her because she's the one who's going to talk me off this ledge. I run up to her, and I am upset, I'm crying, and I say, Susan says I'm going to become an aunt, and I don't want to. She says, oh, it's fine. I'm going to become an aunt too. I've always wanted to become an aunt. And I'm thinking, who has always wanted to become an aunt? That's not possible. I'm excited. She's going to become an aunt. Will you play aunt games with me in the driveway? Oh, honey, no. I'm up in college. I'm down in college in D.C. I'm going to become an aunt in D.C., and you're going to become an aunt in Pennsylvania. Well, that doesn't help very much. I woke up the next morning, and I thought, I got to figure this out. Hey, Mom, when I am an aunt, what am I going to eat for dinner? Hey, Dad, when I'm an aunt, where am I going to sleep? Am I going to still have the same friends? Will I still have the same bedtime? Am I going to be able to read? Will I go to school? How am I going to get to school? I had Questions. So many questions. I was trying to get to the bottom of this. Why is everybody so convinced I'm going to be coming in? It just doesn't make sense to me. And then I'm thinking, they even know the exact date it's going to happen. That's weird. And I'm thinking, how early am I going to have to get up in the morning when I'm an aunt? How early am I going to have to get up? I have to walk all the way to the bus stop on my little legs, my little ant legs. So I decided to do some research. I went to the library, and I asked the librarian, do you have any books on ants? And she's like, sure do. She took me, they do. They have juvenile books on ants, took me over, gave me a book, The Life Cycle of an Ant. And so I read it. I read it that day. I felt kind of prepared for the big day. All right, I'm going to be an ant, and I know it's going to happen. I got this. About 1 month before Ant Day occurs, I go to my friend's house, and I knock on her door. Hey, Mrs. Fragan, is Dory home? Can I come and play? Mrs. Fragan answers the door and says, I'm so sorry, Bari. Dory's aunt is in town. The cousins are in town. She can't play with you. But a little birdie told me something. Yep. Little birdie told me you're going to become an aunt soon. What? And it honestly wasn't until this moment that I understood. Aunt and aunt. They're two very, very different words. They don't teach homonyms and homophones until 2nd grade. When I was 6 years old, my entire world turned upside down. Because I honestly thought, inside my little head, that it was very possible, because every trusted adult in my life made it very clear to me, including my sister and my parents, all made it very clear to me that I could wake up one morning in this Kafkaesque world and just be an insect. That changes a person. Existential times in our life, they change people. It changed me because I actually thought, and maybe possibly thought throughout more than just that time when I was 6 years old, that it was possible that you could not be human anymore. That it was possible that you could wake up and just not be human. That's possible, right? So I have 2 cardinal rules now in my life. 1, when I see a little kid, I explain to them what a homonym is. I explain to them what a homophone is. And 2, I never step on ants.